Hello, I'm Maddie,
I'm Karina.
and this is Everything But the Fairy Tale Sink. Today's episode is the Orcadian folklore creature, the Nuckelavee, and I'll explain what Orcadian folklore is later on. So, how are you?
I'm surviving.
Surviving, not thriving.
Yeah. Yeah. How are you? Thirsty?
Yes. We're filming this on a Thursday. Usually we film on Saturday. So I've had two classes today. One class I was talking about Greek mythology and just all sorts of things about how it's very strange. And then in the other class, we were talking about fairy tales and lots of medieval movies. So I got to look at lots of pictures of Heath Ledger from A Knight's Tale and talk about how terrible the costuming in that movie is.
We could probably do a whole podcast episode on how much we hate that specific one green dress.
The one green dress with a little firework hair.
God, the hair.
Recommendations. Do you want to go first or should I go first?
Yeah, I can go first.
Okay.
My recommendation of the day is getting yourself...
Why are you looking to the side?
Because I was trying to think of the word and I have it over there. But
Wow.
Get yourself a good coffee mug that you can travel with. Because, yeah, it's been nice.
My recommendation is a phone game that Karina and I have been just wasting our time on. Let's be real here. It's called Time Princess. Basically, you play as a character and you are given the opportunity to do like Romeo and Juliet, it's called Helen of Sparta, but it's Helen of Troy's story, or Queen Marie, and you get to go through levels and make clothing and all sorts of things, and it's really just a time waster.
Yeah, there's cats.
There's cats. It's fun.
The cats were a big selling point.
Yes, I'm now very aware of hearing my own talking because I can hear the...
Oh no, I hate that.
And I'm leading this episode. I'm just going to have to get over it. Anyways, slight content warning on this episode. I am describing it's a malevolent creature, but it's very disgusting in appearance. So some people might not be into that. Just know that it is a folklore creature and it can't hurt you. Anyways, so Orcadian folklore, to start out with that before I get into the actual creature itself, is a mix of Norse mythology, so like Thor, Odin, Loki, all that stuff, and Celtic stories woven into it. And the Orkney Islands are islands off the most northern coast of Scotland. So there's Scotland and then there's the little Orkney Islands. And because it was kind of a midpoint for a lot of people trading, sailing, living, it kind of became a melting pot of mythology and stories. There's the brief overview. So the Nuckelavee is derived from the Orcadian word, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm going to go with Nuckelavee, which means devil of the sea. And Nook, N-U-C-K, is derived from the word for the devil. So that kind of explains the whole devil of the sea thing. No one really knows what it looks like outside, under the water. But when it is above water, it is a skinless horse-man hybrid, where sometimes the torso, so it's not like a centaur. The centaur is top half man, bottom half horse. This is full horse with a humanoid figure in the middle of the back.
Okay, for a second though, I was picturing when Maui gets stuck between the shark and the human, that, but without skin, and I don't know what's more disturbing in my head. Both of those are pretty bad.
I'm gonna go with Maui's more disturbing.
Yeah. Sorry if we just ruined Moana.
Anyways, so sometimes it's just the torso. Sometimes the humanoid part has legs that hang off the side of the horse, but more often than not, it's just the four legs of the horse head humanoid thing.
Gotcha.
And a little bonus part to this humanoid thing is it has arms that like drag on the ground. So you know those old creatures that have like the bent backwards hands and they drag their knuckles on the ground? I don't know what this motion I'm doing is because they can't see it. It's just me flexing my arms. But basically that's what they do. And they have, because they have no skin, you can see their veins and everything and the blood circulating through it. And they have glowing red eyes. You know, because what creature doesn't have glowing eyes?
The one that we're going to be talking about next week, I don't think does.
Watch it. Watch you go back through your script and it has glowing eyes.
that would fit.
Oh my gosh,
Okay.
my headphones.
Oh,
Anyways,
no.
there's a little more to the description. So the horse creature basically is just a skinless horse.
Mm-hmm.
And it has one eye like a cyclops, but you know how the front of a horse's face is flat?
Mm-hmm.
That's where the eye sits. So the part where it should actually have eyes is just like the muscles, and the eye sits on the front of it.
Okay, so I want you to know what my mental picture is right now. My brain is blocking out the skinless part, I'll be completely honest, but I'm picturing like the horse as being like the Thestral from Harry Potter, and then on the back, you know that video I sent you the other day of the sloth walking on the ground? We might have to like share that to our Instagram story with this one, but like that is exactly what I'm imagining on top of it. How did I disturb you more than that?
I don't like
That's
that.
That's exactly what I'm picturing.
I don't like that. In my mind, the video that we're talking about, basically it's a sloth going this way, not this way. So it's going horizontally, it's not going vertically, and it just looks wrong. It's, yeah. Anyways.
That's what I'm picturing.
But yeah, Thestral's actually not that bad of a description for it. Some other, like, more cartoony drawings, you know, what is it? Oh gosh, the creature of the Black Lagoon, and it's got the gills. So some drawings have the humanoid part looking like that, but more often than not, it's just the skinless humanoid creature.
Gotcha.
It's also giant, and by giant, I mean like the humanoid part. So from the base to the top of the humanoid head is between 6 to 9 feet tall.
Giant sloth.
No. No.
I'm sorry.
Anyways,
really.
In the early days, the residents of this island were said to be so afraid of this creature that the name Nuckelavee could not be said without being followed by a prayer, or the Nuckelavee would come and get them. Because, you know, it's kind of like, you know, when you're in theater and you say Macbeth, and you have to do the little thing to turn around and then, you know, kiss the stage, all that stuff. It's kind of like that, where there's a superstition associated with it. Anyways.
I'm looking it up. I want you to know.
What are you looking up?
That is disturbing.
What the Nuckelavee looks like?
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you, it's scary.
The horse face is the weirdest part to me.
Yeah, because it's not a normal horse.
No. Well, that's disturbing.
Anyways, it is said that the Mither of the Sea, which is another Orcadian folklore creature that I won't get too into because there's a lot of history behind her and she's very interesting, and I might do an episode of her like just by herself. But it is said that during the summertime she has enough power to keep them in the ocean so that they can't bother the humans. And in the winter, they're allowed to go on land because that's when her power kind of backs off a little bit, so they have a little more freedom. You can know that one is around you because their breath just absolutely, well, other than the fact that you're staring down a humanoid creature that's skinless, its breath smells like death.
Oh, always fun.
Always fun. So you don't exactly want to, you don't want to be around that creature. But it's actually, despite being a creature that lives underwater, is highly influential of what happens on the land, which, again, we see that so often with water creatures. Is they, you know, they're primarily water-dwelling beings, but they influence a lot of what happens on land. But unlike Rusalka, which we talked about earlier, where they influence benevolent things on land, like rainfalls to increase crops and everything, these creatures cause crops to fail.
Oh, interesting. So they can almost cause like droughts.
Yeah, so they cause droughts, they cause epidemics of disease, they cause floods, they just all sorts
Overall,
of bad
not
things.
good.
You really there is zero, every source I checked, there is zero redeeming factors of this creature. It is just malevolent as malevolent can get.
Real charming.
Real charming, yep. So you would think that this thing I'm about to mention is a way to ward off Nuckelavee, but it actually just infuriates them to no end. It is the practice of burning seaweed to make kelp. And I couldn't really find a more in-depth description of what that meant, but basically, my script says it turns it to help. I meant kelp.
No.
But basically, the smell of it and the sight of it drives the Nuckelavee into a rage, and it can set them to do the things that I mentioned previously. So causing epidemics, droughts, crop failure, all these fun, delightful things. So don't burn seaweed.
Wasn't planning on it.
Just don't do it. It is said that in one story, the Nuckelavee was so enraged that he struck all the horses on the island with a disease called mortashine. And trust me, I Googled it. All I could get was a D&D monster.
I was expecting you to go like it was disgusting, but no.
No, I really couldn't find anything on it other than the fact that when the horses were struck with it, it spread to the people, and it just was a not good, it was just terrible. It was really, really bad.
Nice.
Kind of piling onto all of that, it's considered the worst creature in the Scottish Northern Islands, which is another word for the Orkney Islands. It is the only known way to escape from it is to cross over fresh water, so like a stream or creek, or to stand in fresh water.
So they don't like fresh water.
No, because they're a saltwater being, they don't like fresh water.
Do you think they're so mean because they're just really salty?
Yes. Yes, they are. The fact that I'm sitting in complete silence and you're laughing hysterically makes this way better.
Okay.
And breathe out.
Don't do it.
Anyways.
Okay, keep talking.
So because they are not freshwater creatures, they also can't come ashore when it's raining. So they can't be on land if it's raining because rain is freshwater.
Oh, so, well, that's nice.
Yeah. So if it's raining, you're lucky. They're also compared to their little, their freshwater buddy, the Kelpie, which we talked about earlier.
Yes.
Whereas, Kelpies can't, obviously you covered them. So I might be forgetting because I have a horrible memory. Wow, my headphones. So Kelpies are freshwater creatures, which means they can't go in saltwater.
Correct.
And Nuckelavee are saltwater creatures that can't go in freshwater. So they're kind of opposites of each other. However, whereas Kelpies can shapeshift, Nuckelavee cannot. They're just the skinless, nasty things. Yes.
Charming.
Yes, they are also similar to Norway's Nooks, which we see in Frozen 2. But I don't know. That's a pretty friendly depiction of the Nook, even though it did try to drown her. But because it's a Disney movie,
but also the pretty water horse.
We go friendly on the Disney.
I love Frozen 2.
Anyways,
okay, that's fine.
So throughout my research, I actually couldn't find, because Nuckelavee was constantly referred to as he. So I couldn't find if it was just a single solitary, one Nuckelavee, or a bunch of Nuckelavee.
But either way, it's
either way, it is a solitary. It is a male and a solitary creature.
Interesting. So it's almost like the Thunderbird, in which it's unknown if it's like a singular or a species.
Yes, because I saw a couple stories and it was like the Nuckelavee, meaning like plural, or like Nuckelavee with a capital N, singular with he. Like going back to the seaweed, where the burning the seaweed into kelp, it said that it made him so enraged. So I truly don't know if it's multiple or just one singular creature. Anyways, that's all I have. What'd you think?
That was a fun one. If you hate me a little bit from my stupid comments about the sloth, I understand. I'm sorry. I had to make you suffer with me.
I was gonna say, we've mentioned this many times before, where I'm not as creeped out as easily as Karina can be. Karina gets creeped out very easily, and I not so much. It really depends on what the thing is, but we use humor to cope with the fact that we're terrified of stuff. So
Okay,
the
I
fact,
wasn't even actually that creeped out during this episode. I was just imagining the sloth and it was making me laugh. Yeah. No, I'm just...
pull yourself together.
No.
Wow.
Alright, I need to pull myself together though, actually, because
Yes.
we're about to film another episode.
Yes.
All right.
Speaking of another episode, what is the other episode? What do we have coming up next week?
Up next, we have dragons, but not from a place you would expect.
I'm excited.
I'm very excited. It's gonna be chaotic. We're bringing in an old folk legend. Yeah, it'll be a fun time.
The fact that you've been so giggly for this one really sets the fact that this next one's going to be a trip.
All right, wishes of the day?
Yes. You go first, because, as always, I don't... Wow. See, I would like to preface, because we've come across this problem many times while filming, that we discuss right before starting to film what our recommendations are and what our wishes are. Like, we discussed this.
To do wishes today.
We forgot to discuss wishes. My wish is that, because the weather is starting to get so nice, that it is sunny, but not deceivingly cold.
That's a good one.
Like, you know, when you look outside and you're like, oh, it's so beautiful, and then you go outside and you're freezing? I hope that doesn't happen to you. I hope you go outside, it's sunny, and it's warm, and it's beautiful, and you don't feel like you're going to freeze to death.
That's a good one. My wish today is that if you have something to watch for class, like a movie that could be like extra credit or something, that you can find it for free.
Ooh, that's a good one. Especially because so many of them are so bad.
Yep.
Well, I guess it depends on the class.
I have to watch the 1968 Romeo and Juliet, and I found it for free, and I'm thrilled.
You can hate me for this. Any Romeo and Juliet is bad. I don't like Romeo and Juliet. I'm not saying you in specifics, but I'm saying sometimes.
What about Romeo and Juliet?
All right.
Time to quit.
Yeah, so Karina's actually being fired from the podcast. I know we promised that we would have a dragon episode next week, but that actually sadly won't be happening anymore. I will be leading this by myself from now on. It might not be as funny. But anyways, thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you next week. I'm going to keep talking so Karina can't talk. Please.
I'm saying goodbye. Talk.
Please go give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok if Karina can post on the TikTok.
Listen.
And
I thought I was fired.
I'm keeping you around for that. I don't know how to use TikTok.
Oop. I'm not giving you the login.
I was going to say,
I can't remember the login.
And make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel. I can see that 25% of you aren't subscribed. So subscribe or we'll send a creature after you.
A creature like the Jade Rabbit, because we're not that mean.
Yeah.
We're not sending the Nuckelavee after people.
Well, yeah. Anyways. Bye.
Bye.